For me, and I think the same is true of all students and scholars of the Bible, 3 3-unit numbers stand out clearly from all in the sacred scriptures, *400 *666 *153. However, what 99% of Bible readers and students ignore is that the 3 numbers mentioned above have a close connection with Isolele and her diaspora through the revelation of the Mystery of Fatima. 400 relates to the duration of the bondage to which the true people of God would be subjected in Babylon. The latter, in these end times, represents first and foremost the United States of America, as well as all the countries where the children of Isolele were to be deported. Genesis chapter 15 verse 13, Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 10. 14. 666 is the entity which, in all its aspects, is the very opposite of the Messiah of Isolele, of Christ. This is the one called the Antichrist. The opposite of 666, namely when it is turned 180 degrees, gives 999, which is the number of the Messiah of Isolele, the number of Christ. Today, the goal of our video is to dissect the number 153, which, as I will demonstrate to you in a few moments, is one of the most mysterious numbers that exist. Beforehand we demonstrated that the golden triangle, that is to say the addition between them of the numbers from 1 to 17 gives 153. Is it therefore a coincidence that the Bible chose this figure to give the number of fish from the miraculous catch? Let's go back to the story. After that, Jesus again showed himself to the disciples on the shores of Lake Tiberias. This is how he showed himself. Simon Peter, Thomas, called Didymus, Nathanael, who came from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples of Jesus were together. Simon Peter said to them, "I am going to fish." They said to him, "We are also going with you." They went out and got into a boat immediately, but that night they took nothing. When morning came, Jesus was on the shore. But the disciples did not know that it was he. He said to them, "Children, have you nothing to eat?" They answered him, "No." He said to them, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat and you will find." So they threw it away and they couldn't get it out, there were so many fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as he heard that it was the Lord, Simon Peter put on his garment and his belt, for he had undressed, and threw himself into the lake. The other disciples came with the boat, pulling the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, 100 yards away. When they got out on land, they saw an ember's fire with fish on it and bread. Then Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you just caught." 11 Simon Peter got into the boat and drew the net full of 153 large fish ashore. Despite their large number, the net did not tear. For me, one of the proofs that the Bible is not just any book but that it is truly inspired by the Creator is the analysis of this number 153. Behind the choice of this number in the account of the miraculous catch is discerns a superior intelligence capable of revealing through this number the mystery which will turn human history upside down. It is, you will easily understand, the mystery of Fatima. To understand what I just said, let's dive into the murky and enigmatic waters of 153. 153 is the number of fish brought back by Peter. According to the account of the miraculous catch found in the Gospel according to John 21:11, the figure continues to give exegetes a hard time. Most stick to the interpretation given in the 4th century by the first biblical scholar, Saint Jerome, that the Greek zoologists of the time knew a total of 153 varieties of fish. The number would signify in this case the universality of the Church, all the nations of the earth being found in the nets of the Apostle Peter. Okay, but that's pretty short as an explanation, isn't it? Let's go further by approaching the question from the angle of biblical numerology. We find a numerological commentary on this verse in the treatise on the Gospel of John of St. Augustine. The latter reminds us that 153 is a triangular number, namely that it is the result of the sum of all the numbers between 1 and 17. In the Acts of the Apostles, 2, 1–11, we can count the number of peoples enumerated in this story: Parthians, Medes, Elamites, inhabitants of Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, Egypt, that part of Libya which is close to Cyrene, Romans in residence, Jews, proselytes, Cretans and Arabs. These peoples, whose nationals hear in their own language what the apostles say, it is the so-called glossolalie miracle, which has been assimilated to Anti-Babel, a 17 in number. These peoples of all the nations which are under heaven are therefore clearly considered to represent the universe then known. The numbers 10 and 7, meanwhile, represent the multitude and the totality. This joins the comments of theologians and exegetes, who only follow what St. Augustine said. 153 represents the totality of Christians of all times and their multitude. In other areas 153 is also the number E153, black, food coloring called medicinal charcoal. We can realize that no one is able to give with precision mixing the supernatural and the rational of this number 153. However, Tata Nzambi Ya Mazulu, creator of the heavens and the earth, has revealed to us the hidden meaning of this figure. Number. Like Daniel, we write to each other, "Praise be to God now and forever, because to him belong wisdom and strength. He makes the times change, and modify the circumstances. He overthrows kings and lift up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and, to those who know how to understand, he bestows knowledge. He reveals things, deep and secret. He knows what there is, in the darkness, and the light shines near him. It is you, God of my fathers, that I celebrate and praise. You filled me up, of wisdom and strength, and you made me know what we asked you. You revealed to us, what the king asks. Let's go. We have already had the opportunity to say it. 153 is closely linked to the Mystery of Fatima. But how? Quite simply by the two dates which are hidden there. Namely, on the 17th of March 15, March 15th, 1917 and the 17th of May 13, May 13th, 1917. Here it is enough to invert the 3 and the 5 to obtain 13 to 5. Note again that 153 is the triangular number resulting from the sum of the digits between 1 and 17. 17 therefore represents a year, the year 1917. What happened on March 15, 1917? Let's talk about history books. Nicholas II, born Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov on May 6, 1868, May 18, 1868 in the Gregorian calendar, at Tsarskoye Selo Palace and executed on July 17, 1918 in Yekaterinburg, is an emperor of Russia in the Romanov dynasty. He was Tsar of all the Russias, also King of Poland and Grand Duke of Finland, from November 1, 1894 until his abdication on March 15, 1917. March 15 is therefore the day of the abdication of the Tsar of all Russias, Nicholas II. This day can be considered as the official birth of Bolshevism in Russia and in the world, in other words the beginning of the reign of communism symbolized by the color red. Let us now turn to our second date, namely May 13, 1917. What happened in the world on that famous day? On May 13, 1917, 3 little shepherds from Forema, an unknown village in central Portugal, Lucy, Francois and Jacinth guard their flock of sheep when at noon a lightning tears the sky, followed by a thunderclap. The sky is however a limpid blue. The hypothesis of warning signs of a thunderstorm should therefore be ruled out from the outset. Suddenly, a lady all dressed in white appears to the three shepherds, Francois and Jacinth Marteau, and their cousin Lucy dos Santos, asking them to come back the following month on the same day and at the same time. From month to month, the shepherds claim that the apparition is happening again, and they are accompanied by a growing crowd until the apparition of October 13, 1917, when about 70,000 believers and curious people flock to see the miracle, which would have been promised by the lady. It would then have occurred in the sky a luminous phenomenon called thereafter, the miracle of the sun, or the dance of the sun. Among the observers there were reportedly academics and non-believers. People present during the events speak of an unexplainable phenomenon. The apparitions of Fatima constitute one of the most extraordinary prophecies in the Bible, one of the few that can easily be found in the news of the time and in history books. The lady is undoubtedly the one who appeared in the center of Portugal at Fatima. Wrapped in the sun alludes to the dance of the sun. What does the red dragon represent if not the Soviet Union? The 10 horns and the 7 heads of the dragon reveal the year of the apparitions. The 12 stars represent the 12 Mavelis of Congo Dien Totala, Isilele. The male child is the Messiah of Isilele, whose birth in 1918, kept secret by the popes, designates them as being the Antichrist. A confirmation of this secret birth of Christ is the fact that it is to shepherds that Tata Nzambi Ya Mazulu sends his angel, the Lady of Fatima, undoubtedly to preserve secrecy. Francois and Jacinth Marteau, 2 of the little shepherds, were immediately after the events affected by the Spanish flu and died, in 1919 and 1920, leaving their cousin Lucy dos Santos the sole holder of a news likely to put the world upside down. Entering the novitiate of the Dorothy sisters, then the Carmel of Coimbra, Sister Lucy died in 2005 at the age of 95 without having revealed the true secret of Fatima. Justifying his past as an actor, Pope John Paul II organized in 2000 a huge theatrical show claiming that the secret of Fatima concerned the attempted assassination of which he himself had been the victim on May 13, 1981. Let's unravel the mystery. The miraculous catch is none other than the prophetic account of the Mystery of Fatima. This account is found in the Book of Revelation chapter 12. 1-5, a great sign appeared in the sky. It was a woman wrapped in the sun, the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and she was crying, for she was in labor. In the pains of childbirth another sign appeared in the sky. It was a great fiery red dragon, which had 7 heads and 10 horns, and on its heads 7 diadems. Its tail dragged 1/3 of the stars in the sky and threw them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was going to give birth, in order to devour her child as soon as it was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child who is to rule all nations with an iron scepter, and her child was taken up to God and to his throne. This account of the Bible announces to us with a foreknowledge of more than 1,900 years the apparitions of Fatima in Portugal, on May 13, 1917, so 135 of which 153 are hidden behind the scenes. B. He announces to us at the same time the appearance of a large fiery red dragon. It is about Russia, whose name means red in Latin and which appears on the web of world history on March 15, 1917, so 153. We have already had the opportunity to underline that if the number 6 is that of the Antichrist, the number 9 is that of Christ. However, the sum of the two dates 1 plus 5 plus 3 equals 9 to 1 plus 3 plus 5 equals 9 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 7 equals 18 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 7 equals 18 Gold 18 equals 1 plus 8 equals 9 So these two dates, whatever the angle from which they are studied, end in the number 9, the number of Christ. Therefore, the mystery of Fatima concerns Christ, the one who initiated the miraculous catch, the one who said, "I would make you fishers of men." But at what point in the story of Revelation chapter 12 does this famous Christ come in? In verse 5, which says, "She gave birth to a son, a male child who is to rule all nations with an iron scepter." Already, a fundamental detail that constitutes the mystery of Fatima bomb is that E153 is the chemical number of the color black, revealing the true color of Christ, black. To lead in a spiritual sense is to be the shepherd of a people, hence the scepter, the staff of the shepherd. Leading in a spiritual sense is called Kenya in Kikongo, the original language. Kenya is the very root of Congo, which means rain. All nations is called Ntotala in Kikongo, hence Congo dia Ntotala, the place where the male child must appear. Now, male child in Kikongo is called Toko, hence the new name that the Messiah was to take at the end of time. Of the victor the first will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will never come out again. I will write on him the name of my God, the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem which comes down from heaven, from my God, and my new name. Revelation chapter 3 verse 12. February 24, 1918, either the 24th of February 1918, or 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 8 equals 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 equals 9 then 1 plus 8 equals 9, or 999 Unmale child was born in Angola, then an overseas province of Portugal. The child has Portuguese nationality at birth, hence the announcement of his birth preceded by miracles in Portugal. This child is called Simeon Toko, the Kusua, the Messiah, the Christ. Here is what he announces to the diaspora. On the other hand, this is what the Lord says: as soon as 70 years have passed for Babylon, I will intervene on your behalf, I will accomplish what I promised you by bringing you back here. Indeed, I know the plans that I form for you, declares the Lord. Plans of peace and not of misfortune, in order to give you a future and hope. Then you will call me and you will go, you will pray to me and I will answer you. You will seek me and find me, because you will seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will bring back your deportees. I will gather you out of all the nations and out of all the places where I have driven you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place from which I brought you into exile. The 70 years in question must be added to 1949, which constitutes the birth of the temple prophesied by Malachi chapter 3 verse 1. Here I will send my messenger to prepare the way for me, and suddenly he will enter his temple, the Lord whom you seek, the messenger of the covenant which you desire. Behold he cometh, saith the Lord, the Master of the universe. Church, or temple, of our Lord Jesus Christ in the world, recalled on July 25, 1949, 1949 plus 70 equals 2019, 2019 is the year of the Great Atonement, of the cleansing from the sins that led to the deportation of the sons and daughters of Israel to Babylon. 2020, i.e. 20 times 20 equals 400 years, is the year of the spiritual end of the curse of 400 years of bondage. Genesis chapter 15 verse 13, Acts 7-6. This video should not be viewed superficially but in depth. It should be the object of prayer and meditation. So this is what the revelation of the hidden meaning of the miraculous catch, of the 153 big fish, leads us. Let him who has ears to hear hear. Matthew chapter 11 verse 15. Ingeta. Pastor Melo.